Hello, welcome back. My name is Rachel with Rachel Styes Wellness, and today let's talk the evolution of the modern diet. Yes, how did we go from hunting and foraging for our nourishment to fad diets and processed foods and boxes and meat alternatives and all these things? Well, let's go back in time. So long time ago, our ancestors were hunter-gatherers, or more accurately, hunter-gatherer horticulturalists. So fancy. If you've ever heard of the paleo diet today, where the premise is to eat like our ancestors, there really is no one paleo diet. It varied from group to group, but they were all omnivores across the board. They ate a diverse and nutrient-dense diet that included animal proteins and seasonal local plants. They helped keep forests healthy and diversify the food supply by using things like fire management, as well as temporary gardens called swidens. That's fun. These would grow food for a couple years and then they'd leave it dormant for 25 or so years in order to not strip the soil of all of its good, rich nutrients. Overall, they were mostly free of many diseases of civilization like diabetes, cancer, heart disease. And don't get me wrong, they had other things to worry about, but at least they didn't have those diseases to worry about. So those being our ancestors, now fast forward to about 10 to 12,000 years ago, we had the agricultural revolution. This is the first step towards the modern diet. Humans began to settle down to farm crops and domesticate animals rather than having to go hunt and forage for a meal. Sure, not having to chase down your food is pretty great, but with the development of settlements and civilizations came a decrease in nutrient density, the spread of communicable diseases, inequality, slavery, genocide. Not great things. Yeah. We continued farming for a long time and still do today, but a new milestone happened. In the 1600s, we had the introduction of refined sugar. Yay! Sugar came on the map finally. At first, I say finally as if that's like an exciting thing. At first, it was a fine luxury for the wealthy, but over time, we got better and better at making it so the masses could all enjoy the sweetness. Today, the average person consumes 150 to 200 pounds of sugar per year. Ow, I think my blood sugar got a little scared just thinking about that. Whew. But after a while, we got tired of growing our own food for a living and instead worked in factories in big cities. That marked the Industrial Revolution of the mid-18th century. Food processing became more of a necessity to increase shelf life, so the food from the farms wouldn't spoil before the city dwellers could buy it. This increase in processing and shelf life marked a further decrease in nutrient density, unfortunately. Oh, and don't forget all those factories spewing new toxins into the air, into the water. Yeah, that too. That wasn't great. But as factories and processing increased, the rise of big food came about in the late 1800s. Brands you know today got their start back then, like Nestle, Kellogg, Coca-Cola, on and on and on. Many of these had good intentions at first and developed food products to actually treat people with digestive issues in sanatoriums. But yeah, that's definitely not the case today. Processed foods started finding the sweet spot that made them hyper palatable with lots of sugar, fat, and salt. And don't get me wrong, none of those things are bad per se, but they're definitely not in their best quality forms here. But then, when the Second World War hit, we entered the chemical revolution. The good stuff like butter and meat was sent off to the troops. So what did the general population get instead? Margarine and hydrogenated oils. Yay! And we were convinced that those were healthier by sketchy studies. Awesome. The best part, As we continued to grow as much food as fast as we could, we used compounds from bombs and nerve gas to create fertilizers and pesticides to make growing food even easier. And that would go on our food. And then we would eat that food. Yeah. See the problem here? Not that great. But then getting closer to the present, the 1980s marked the digital revolution. Hooray, computers! That's how you're seeing me right now and how I'm recording this video, of course. With all this technology, we have a world of information at our fingertips, but at a price. How are you sitting watching this video right now? Like this? Yeah, our posture directly affects our digestion. And with the blue light and EMFs coming from our devices that we're staring at all day long, it's affecting our sleep quality, our cells, and that's a whole other story for another day. But with our food being extremely processed and not nearly as nutrient dense, on top of the poor digestion and sleep and little movement because we're sitting at our desks all day, every day, we're really not getting the nourishment that we used to. So now that we know where we came from and how we got here, what can we do to make changes to improve our overall health and well-being? Well, that is coming next. So make sure to subscribe so you can keep learning with me, all right? Thank you all.